And welcome back. I am Terry Ann Porter, Life Coach TA. Today I'm talking about Toastmasters. If you've listened to anything that I've talked about over the past 7 years, you've heard me mention Toastmasters. But instead of hearing it all from me, I want to share some of my friends with you and hear some of their Toastmaster stories just to show how awesome this organization is. Awesome. That's a good word for it. My guest today is Kathy Draper. Kathy, welcome and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm excited to share about something that we both love.
We both love it. And if it hadn't been for Toastmasters, I know I would not have met you virtually or in person. It doesn't matter. That's the great thing about all of this.
Yes.
Well, let's get started. First of all, I know we've both talked about and enjoyed Toastmasters. I want to know, well, first of all, let's start with this. I'm going to catch you off guard from what I told you to begin with. How long have you been in Toastmasters?
Well, officially, I've been in Toastmasters. I joined Toastmasters 14 years ago, but I was only in for a brief time when I lived in Texas. Not because there was anything wrong with Toastmasters, but at the time, my commute, when you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it was like 40 minutes each way, including the meeting. It got to be too much. But I already knew that I loved it because one of my things I wanted to do was learn to be a better speaker. So when I moved to Wichita, I'm a personal trainer, and one of the members of my gym and I got to talking, and I joined her and joined the Wichita Downtown Toastmasters. My anniversary is coming up here. I'll have been back into Toastmasters 4 years ago. So it's
4 years.
It's been been great.
I tell you, it seems like longer than that I have been listening to you and following you along. So why did you join Toastmasters in the very beginning?
I have had a dream of being a professional speaker. And I felt like I think everybody's got a story to tell that could help others, but I wanted to work on those skills. And so that's why I started. I was fortunate when I was younger to get to hear some of the greats live, like Zig Ziglar and Les Brown, all of the great speakers. And so it was something that I've always had a passion to do. So that's why I never quit.
Oh,
and
I
that's
love
why
that.
I came back, because I still wanted to work on that dream.
You're doing pretty well now, as I understand it. I mean, I know that you're out there, you're doing a lot of speaking right now. So now that you've kind of gotten this real good speaking skills developed, why are you still in Toastmasters?
Twofold. One of the reasons is, well, it's actually more than two. I love the people that are part of Toastmasters. You create a new tribe. See, when I rejoined was 2 weeks before COVID lockdown. So along with the lockdown, I also ended up losing my job. It gave me the opportunity to work on some things that I had completely forgotten. I'll give you an example. When COVID hit and I had already rejoined Toastmasters, I went back and looked at my original icebreaker, the first speech that you get in Toastmasters. And I remembered that I had a goal of becoming a life coach with a wellness influence. I never did that. So what I did, since we all had plenty of time during COVID, I went out and got certified as a master life coach during that time. But what keeps me going is I came in to become a better speaker myself. But what I found and wasn't expecting is that I started seeing other people growing. And that's become a passion to be able to see other people improve. I have one young lady, I will not mention her name for her privacy, but to give you an example, when in our club, we're hybrid. So the majority of our people come in person. She was so nervous. All we did was ask her to come up and introduce herself and tell us how she found out about us. She was so nervous. Now, mind you, she has been in Toastmasters before, and also had 2 public speaking classes in college. She was so nervous. She was hyperventilating and about ready to go to tears. But she did it. And she even did a table topic that day. And she joined. 3 weeks later, she did her own icebreaker and did an amazing job. So that's how quickly you can start getting over those nerves once you become comfortable with a safe environment of Toastmasters and be able to improve. That's just one tiny example of so many other stories I've seen. That's what a big difference Toastmasters can make.
I love that. My favorite Toastmasters, and my club will even repeat this to you. When I started giving speeches, I had no problem public speaking. I didn't mind getting up and saying anything. But the problem was I wanted to tell everything I knew. So I was giving 45-minute speeches in a 5 to 7 minute time frame, which meant I never took a breath. My audience was totally exhausted. They had no idea what I was talking about. So I have learned how to parse this out and say, okay, yes, that's great. But if you have 45 minutes, but if you only have 5 minutes, it's okay not to tell everything. But I'm analytical. When somebody gives a speech and I hear something, my mind goes, but what about this? What about this? What about this? So I try to speak like that, and I can't. So they've worked with me and helped me to take it down to where I can now present a 5 to 7 minute speech, most of the time in 5 to 7 minutes, sometimes in 8 or 9. But I am breathing, and they are more understanding of what I am saying.
I had a gentleman when he's a newer member of our club, our amazing Sergeant at Arms, CJ Gilkey. He actually works at the church that we meet at. But his question to me, his very first meeting, he says, he walked up to me, he goes, I know a lot of people here are trying to learn how to become better speakers. Why are you here?
Oh, wow.
It's the exact same problem. I have so much to talk about. You have to condense it. The importance of a speech is that you also need to work on clarity. The word rabbit hole, rabbit trail.
Oh, absolutely.
Frequently been used in my evaluations. So, Terry, you and I are more alike than you realize.
And that was another thing. That's another thing that I like about Toastmasters, that evaluation. You get good, honest feedback. Now, a lot of times, if among your friends, you give this, oh, that was so good. That was so good. I don't want to hear that was so good. I want to hear, what can I do to improve it? And I really enjoy the positive manner that Toastmaster uses to give evaluations.
Yes.
But learning to give those evaluations is also something you have to learn. I don't really think I'm very good at evaluations.
I think evaluations can be something that can really help you as a speaker too. But I think just like improving to speak is its own art, I think evaluating is also an art.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important to, especially, I do evaluations according to the person I'm evaluating. And I'll explain why. We have a lot of very new members. And I also have people in my club that one of my club members in my main club, Wichita, I'm in 3 clubs, but Wichita and downtown is primarily what I'm talking about. But one of our members writes the speeches for the mayor. He has been a speech teacher, has been competing since he was in high school. He's going to get a different evaluation from me than I would get somebody who's giving their first icebreaker. But when I give that evaluation, I know he can take it because he's been competing. They expect evaluations all about how to improve rather than the good stuff. But I also, when I do that, and especially if somebody's getting ready for a contest, I let the audience know before I start my evaluation that my evaluation is being done according to the level of the person that presented the speech, because I don't want somebody that's a guest coming in thinking I'm really, really mean. I know how Corey wants to be evaluated. a Corey would normally be somebody you'd see in an advanced Toastmasters club, but we have a mix in our club, but it also elevates everybody in the club
Sure.
to that standard. But I always make sure, especially when we have a lot of new members and guests, that they understand why I'm giving that evaluation that way, that's not a standard, because I know that's, especially like last year we did it. We had a contest coming up and he was competing at division, and I'm going to be a little tougher because he's got to get ready. He's competing against other people. So, fine tuning it, but letting the audience know that that's why I'm doing it that way. And he appreciated that too.
I like that. There was one club that I visited for a while. They used, when it became evaluation time, the speaker was asked on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you want your evaluation? 1 being, hey, go easy on me, and 5 being, give me all you got. So that if the individual, like there was one day I presented, I said, I've had a rough day. I can't take a 5 right now. So could you kind of give me a 3.5 or a 4? I'm still growing, but because of the rough day I've had, I can't take the all on, here's what you need. But I still got information to help me to grow.
Yes.
That's what's important. So I think evaluations are a very, very important part of Toastmasters and learning how to give them.
One of my mentors calls it glow and grow points. And I like that because, glow is what you did good, grow. Because I think I've seen people step off the stage after doing the World Championship of Public Speaking finale or semifinals, and they know that they could have improved what they did, because sometimes what you do in practice doesn't happen the day of contest. I'm well aware of that after what happened last year for me. And even stuff that never happened in practice, once you get in front of a big audience and stuff, like, what happened and how do I fix this really quick before the but everybody, we don't know what people's days like. So I love the fact that you do that 1 to 5, because that way, do you need it varnished or unvarnished? Because it can then I think the grow points or the glow points are important, because you don't know if somebody's dealing with imposter syndrome. So it's really important to know what you did well. Because I think a lot of our bosses could use some more sandwich method, because I can think of many evaluations I've had from bosses that really could have used a lot more sandwich method in there. So I think it's a way that it can be outside of Toastmasters. We could use this more frequently too. And in our relationships, tell me what I did right. Don't just tell me what I did wrong, because that's all we'll remember if we don't get enough.
That's right. Yes.
Glow points.
And I guess that's the point too about Toastmasters. Toastmasters is not just about public speaking, leadership. Do you run a meeting for your company? Part of a club meeting is, learning that agenda, how to lead the meeting, how to keep the meeting on time, how to keep it flowing, how to evaluate along the way and make it more positive. There's so much more to it.
And keep it like for example, an agenda. Sticking with an agenda, whether it's at work or whether it's at a Toastmaster meeting, it's so important to be making sure things move along, because if you've got somebody like me in the meeting, I might talk too long. I'm sure that never happens, but making sure that we're getting things done and being productive at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's important for so many things in our life.
We want to make sure that meeting is not just something that could have, how does that phrase go? Well, I just left another meeting that could have been an email.
Yes, exactly.
So you want your meetings productive.
Yes. I mean, a lot of times people use PowerPoints all the time. It's like, if all that you're putting is what's on the PowerPoint, you could email the PowerPoint.
Absolutely. Those little things, those are the fun things that you need to go. I'm going to make a little plug here for my own club. Yes. I'm doing this part of it as a presentation for my own club, Tower Talkers, Toastmasters Club. We are a virtual club. There are, within our district and within all Toastmasters, many that are virtual and many that are in person only and many that are a combination. If you'd like to check out my club, excuse me, you are invited to check us out. Welcome to join us. But then for more information about Toastmasters in general, check out toastmasters.org. Now, that's where my club, I'm just pretty much right now one club. I've cut it down. You're in 3 clubs. Tell me about your clubs.
I originally joined Wichita Downtown. And the thing that's nice about it is because it's centralized downtown, we get a lot of people that are different businesses, a lot of people that work for the city of Wichita. It's very diversified. We are hybrid because we do have people that are working from home. So it's allowed them to be able to keep that. I like having the Zoom option because living in Kansas, we do have those days that the weather, we've got a lot of snow and ice, and I don't want anybody's car getting hurt coming in. So we always have that option to switch quickly to Zoom and just continue on our presentation. I'm also in another club in District 22 called Articulators, which is up in Kansas City. A lot of the employees there work for T-Mobile and Sprint. It's hybrid, but it is not a closed club. It's open to everybody, but the in-person meets at T-Mobile. Then I'm also in a club that is an advanced club called Personal Growth Leaders. And that is always going to be virtual because it's literally people all over the world. It is an advanced club, so you need to have finished your 2 levels in Pathways, our education program. But we've got U.S. is represented in Alaska, Illinois, Kansas. We've got people from Canada. It's based in Ireland. If you're in Central Time, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. And we've got Malaysia, Ireland, India. We've had visitors. We've had visitors from Poland. It's really fun to meet people from all over the world. And I have had the opportunity to meet some of those people at the international conference that we have each year. So that's been fun to finally meet them, not just in our Brady Bunch boxes.
I think that is one thing that Zoom has definitely offered to us, and that's the opportunity to meet people around the world.
Eat and speak. I've spoken in South Africa and all over the place.
It's wonderful how it does that. Well, any final comments you want to make about Toastmasters before we close?
All I can say is this is something that I've really enjoyed. I feel like if you get everything out of Toastmasters that you can get out of Toastmasters, you will never get out of Toastmasters. That's a quote by Helen, I believe it's Helen Blanchard, our first female international president from Toastmasters. And I'll stick with that because I truly believe that if you choose to do leadership, there's a huge path in leadership. If you just choose to be a better speaker, there's plenty of room to grow in that. So whatever you're looking for, there's something for you, I think, in Toastmasters.
Absolutely.
At least go to a meeting or 2 and check it out and see if it's right for you. Every club's got a slightly different culture. So you might try a couple of clubs to make sure that it's the right
different clubs. That's it. And I think something else I want to mention right now, it is $60 Toastmasters fee for 6 months. Where else can you get such good education at $10 a month? I want to thank you for joining me. Excuse me. I've tried to hold that off and just couldn't do it. I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to thank you for watching. Whether live or by the replay, I'm excited that you took the time to listen to us talk about Toastmasters. If you'd like to know more about Toastmasters, please check it out. And either one of us also would be more than happy to share information about Toastmasters with you. Thank you very much. Till next time, I am Terry Ann Porter. Thank you to my guest, Kathy Draper, and I'll be back with more of my Toastmasters friends.